Level 1, the applicant. The cursor blinks. It just sits there, blinking on a clean white screen, while you lean forward in the dark of your apartment. The blue light of the monitor covers your face like a cold mask. Outside, the city keeps moving. In here, everything is quiet. Everything is waiting. You start typing. Name, education, work history, basic stuff. You fill in the boxes like it's any other job application, except your hands are shaking just a little because you know it's not. You hit submit. Then you wait. 6 months go by. The silence is so long you almost forget you applied. Then one morning, there it is, a single email. Short, simple. They want to meet you. You buy your own plane ticket to Virginia. The building they send you to looks completely normal, boring even. Fluorescent lights, coffee that smells like it's been sitting since Tuesday. The kind of place where nothing interesting ever happens, which you'll learn later is the whole point. A man in a gray suit sits across from you. You won't remember his face when you leave. You won't even try. For 4 hours, he asks you questions that feel random, like puzzle pieces from different boxes. Where did you grow up? What languages do you speak? Have you ever done drugs? Have you ever been arrested? Then something shifts. You start to understand. These questions aren't random at all. Each one is a wall being built around you, brick by brick. Then comes the polygraph. You're strapped into a chair. Wires and sensors wrap around your fingers and chest. The machine watches your skin, literally reads the electricity your body makes when you're scared. A quiet technician looks at a screen and says, "Have you ever betrayed a friend?" Your heart kicks like something's trying to get out. You tell the truth, not because you're brave, because you're terrified of the machine, of the wires, of the screen. What you don't know yet is this: the machine doesn't actually prove you're lying. It just makes you believe it can. It's theater, a stage with wires. 3 weeks later, a letter arrives. You've been accepted into the clandestine service trainee program. You pump your fist. You think you've won. You have no idea what you're about to lose.
Level 2, the trainee. The gate closes behind you with a sound like a period at the end of a sentence. Welcome to Camp Peary. 9,000 acres of woods and swamp and silence. The locals call it Camp Peary. You'll just call it the place where the person you used to be slowly disappears. For 18 months, your life is a machine with 2 settings: run and learn. You run 5 miles at 5 a.m. while the fog still sits on the grass. You eat fast, you sleep hard, and when your body is too tired to think, that's when the real education begins. They teach you to see the world differently, not as people and streets and buildings, but as patterns. The same silver Toyota that's been behind you for 3 turns. The woman reading a book on the park bench who was also in the coffee shop 4 hours ago. Once your brain learns to notice things like that, it never stops. It's like a door that only opens one way. You learn to disappear. Walk into a department store, float through 3 floors, exit through the loading dock in the back. By the time whoever's following you figures it out, you're already gone. You learn the mechanics of invasion, picking locks, cracking safes, slipping small microphones into rooms that were never supposed to be yours. And then, the most important lesson: why people betray each other. There are 4 reasons, they tell you: money, ideology, coercion, ego. Every person you'll ever target fits into one of those boxes. Your job is to find which one. They run you through fake missions in real cities. Instructors hunt you like enemy agents. The pressure is a physical thing, heavy, like wearing a coat made of stones. 40% of your class quits or washes out. The ones left standing aren't the strongest. They're not the fastest either. They're just the ones who got good at something that takes real practice. Lying to everyone, including themselves, and then going home and eating dinner with a normal smile. You graduate in the top 15%. They shake your hand, they give you a badge and a cover story. Your real life is officially over.
Level 3, the case officer. You wear an uncomfortable suit to parties where nobody says what they actually mean. Officially, you're a political attaché at the American embassy, a name on a list, a face at a gala, a man who talks about trade deficits over warm wine. Unofficially, you're a hunter. Your target is a mid-level government worker at the foreign ministry. He likes poker. He likes it too much. For 8 months, you don't show him a badge. You don't show him anything official. You show up at the same casino he goes to, and you buy him drinks. You call him a friend. You laugh at his jokes. When he starts losing, you loan him money. Not much at first, then more than that. By the time he looks up and sees the trap, he owes you $50,000. You don't say betray your country. You say, just share a few documents. That's all. We'll call it even. He says yes. He says yes because what else is there to say? You file your first report and feel something cold and sharp move through you.
Not guilt, not pride, something in between, like the feeling after winning a game you're not sure you should have played. You go back to your desk. You write a cable about economic conditions. The real story and the fake story mix together in your head until you can barely tell them apart. This is what compartmentalization feels like at the beginning. It feels like nothing. That's how you know it's working. Level 4, the knock. There's no net now. They offer you knock status, non-official cover. You say yes. You're not entirely sure why. No badge, no embassy, no diplomatic immunity. If you're caught, the US government will look at a camera and say they have never heard of you. Your cover is that you're a management consultant for a company that doesn't really consult on anything. You move to a hostile city where America has no official presence. Your neighbors think you're boring. Your girlfriend thinks you travel too much for work. Your handlers, the only people on earth who know the truth, you haven't seen them in 2 years. You talk through dead drops, hollow bricks, encrypted bursts sent from random coffee shop Wi-Fi. You are, for all practical purposes, invisible. One night, a car follows you that isn't from your training. It's local intelligence, real, dangerous, watching. You spend the next 6 hours in a slow-motion chase through the city. Your heart rate stays steady. You've trained for this. You lose them in a crowded market where 100 conversations and 1,000 smells give you cover. You sit in a doorway afterwards and breathe. And you think, if they had caught me tonight, there would be no call, no lawyer, no embassy, just a basement and a question I couldn't answer. The isolation changes you in ways you won't notice until it's too late. You stop thinking in we. You start thinking in I. You stop being a person with connections. You become a ghost. And ghosts don't have friends.
Level 5, the Paramilitary Officer. After Beirut nearly kills you, they pull you out of the shadows and hand you a different kind of darkness. You're sent to the Special Activities Center. You were a spy who carried a gun. Now you're a soldier who gathers intelligence. The difference matters more than you expect. 6 months of the hardest training on Earth. Explosives, close quarters combat, combat diving. Your body learns things your brain can't quite believe. Your first real mission is in the mountains of Afghanistan. You grow a beard, you wear local clothes, you sleep in a mud compound that smells like dust and animals and cold nights. You work with militia fighters whose loyalty changes with the weather. You call in drone strikes from coordinates on a grainy satellite image. You watch through binoculars as a Hellfire missile erases a building from the map. Sometimes the intelligence is solid, clean, confirmed. Sometimes the smoke clears and you see people pulling other people from the rubble. And the person holding the binoculars, the person who made the call, that person is you. You tell yourself it's necessary. You have another mission tomorrow. You focus on the mission. They give you a medal for something that never happened. You can never show it to anyone. You can't explain it. You can't talk about it. At night sometimes, you wake up reaching for a rifle that isn't there, your hands searching the dark for something solid to hold on to. Level 6, the team leader. 8 people now, 8 lives in your hands. You're deployed to Libya during the Civil War. The country looks like something from the end of a movie. Fire and rubble and militias running checkpoints where the rules change every hour. Your mission, find and destroy chemical weapons before the wrong people get them. You move only at night. You sleep 2 hours at a time. Your safe house changes every 2 days. You bribe militia leaders with stocks of cash and ask prisoners questions in the back of moving vans. You find 15 tons of mustard gas. You destroy it on site. On the way out, your convoy gets hit. One of your men takes a bullet to the chest. You pick him up and you run, half a mile, bullets cutting the air around your head like angry hornets. You make it to the helicopter. You hold him and you keep telling him he's fine, because that's what you do. You tell him he's fine. He isn't fine. He dies before you reach the airbase. Later, you sit down and write a letter to his family. You write that he died in a training accident, because that's the story. That's the only story they're allowed to have. You can't tell them that their son, their brother, their father, that he helped protect millions of people from a silent, invisible death. That part doesn't exist. In this world, even dying is classified. Level 7, the Station Cheif. You're 42 and your body is sending you invoices for every hard thing you've ever done. Old concussions, shot up joints, the kind of tired that sleep doesn't actually fix. They sit you down. They tell you it's a promotion. You're now Chief of Station, the top CIA officer in an entire country. Every operation, every asset, every bribe, and every risk flows across your desk. You manage 40 officers and hundreds of informants. You have coffee with ambassadors who smile at you and lie. You meet with local intelligence chiefs who are pretending to be your allies. You sit in rooms where you are the most dangerous person present, and nobody knows it except you. You approve operations that could start wars. You shut down operations that could cost lives but are too messy for Washington to stomach. You sleep 4 hours a night in a fortified bubble, terrified that one mistake will be the headline that ends everything.
Your marriage ended years ago. Your kids know your cover story better than they know you. They know the name of the fake company you work for. They don't know their father, not really. You are one of the most powerful people in the country you're stationed in. You are also, in most ways that matter, completely alone. Level 8, the Black Site Commander. The last thing they ask for is the piece of yourself you've been holding back. You're sent to run a facility that does not exist. A black site, a warehouse in a country that has been paid to pretend not to see it. Inside are men who have been erased from the official world. No lawyers, no rights, no phone calls. Your job is to make them talk. Sleep deprivation, stress positions, waterboarding. You tell yourself the information saves lives. You tell yourself these men would kill millions if they were free to do it. You tell yourself a lot of things when you're sitting in that cold control room, watching a monitor. Some nights you stare at the ceiling and ask yourself a question you can't quite answer. Is there any real difference left between me and the men in those cells? You leave after 2 years. They give you a commendation that will never appear in any file, for work that will never officially be described as work. You move back to Virginia. You buy groceries. You mow your lawn. You are a ghost who walks around in a regular person's life. You have done things your country needed, things that kept people safe who will never know they were in danger, things that would break the hearts of the people you protected if they ever found out, but they won't, because that's the deal. You carry it alone. The cycle. Right now, somewhere, in a quiet apartment, maybe a city you know, maybe one you don't, a young person is sitting in the glow of a laptop screen. They're filling out an application on the CIA website. They're thinking about adventure, about serving something bigger than themselves, about being the kind of person who matters in a way most people never get to. They think they understand what they're getting into. They don't, but they will. The cursor blinks. The cycle begins again.